What's up, you guys? Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I'm going live today with one of our beginner triathlon graduates. So I'm trying to invite her in. Wendy, there she is, invite. Good deal. All right, cool. So, joined. You're already here. Wendy, that was so fast. Rafi, how are you? I'm waiting to do our new one too. There you are. Hey, Wendy.
Hi, Erin.
How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you.
Thank God it's Friday, right?
Amen. Yes.
Well, I was just telling everybody that you are a recent graduate of our beginner triathlon program, and I wanted to share about your success because I was there when you crossed the finish line, and it was kind of emotional, and it really inspired me because I know how hard you challenged yourself in different ways for this last sprint triathlon that you're the very first sprint triathlon you ever did. And I want to share the journey with everybody because I feel like so many people are intimidated to maybe have it. They have this idea that they want to do a triathlon, but they're like, there's no way I could ever do that, right? So let's start at the very beginning because it's an awesome story. And like I know you're into fitness because I looked at your Instagram feed and you're doing your kettlebells and you're very lean and you have a great success story. So let's start there as far as introduce yourself, how old you are, and how far you've come before we even met each other.
So I am Wendy Whitlow, and I am 55 years old.
You look amazing.
Thank you. I turned 55 in November. In fact, I was upset that the triathlon I completed, it said I was 56, and it started making me question, how old am I? No, I'm 55. Yeah, I've always been athletic, even at a very young age. The problem is somewhere along the line, I used to eat my feelings, I guess, and had the birth of my son, and then the weight just kept climbing, and I ended up reaching like 280 something, 85 pounds. And I still worked out. I still like being active. I'm 5'8", so the way I carried my weight, it allowed me to still be able to do a lot of things, but certainly not to the way it is now. But I went on a weight loss journey about 3 years ago, cut out the flour and sugar, and then it just paid off. And I kept working out. My doctor said there's a lot of muscle memory that was going on underneath, so I was grateful for that. But I had a friend who's been trying to get me for the past 5 years to do a triathlon, and it was very intimidating for me. And this year, she just kept ensuring me. She did a lot of research and found your organization, full coaching or full circle coaching. And she's like, I want to work with this lady. I want to work with this company. So I signed up. I just believed in what she said. I've watched her journey. And so that's how I ended up here with you.
Well, let's give her a shout out. What's her name?
Stacy Bomar.
Stacy Bomar. Yeah, I remember when she called me. And I think I've met her before over the years, and she was gonna join me a few years ago, but I never saw her. And I was on Key Biscayne in my car, and she's like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then she said, but I want to get my girlfriend to come. I want Wendy to join me. So let's inspire her to sign up too, right? So I was so psyched that you guys had that partnership because, you know, having a friend that you know really, really helps you keep accountable. Okay, so let's talk about, maybe some of the challenges when you first signed up because there were a few. You've had some great success. I knew you were driven because of your success story with the weight loss, and that's a bonus to have in your back pocket when you do a triathlon, right? But talk to everybody about some of the challenge because it wasn't like this, oh, you showed up and you did a triathlon, right?
Exactly. No. I knew there was some work that was going to be involved. And again, because she had done the research with you guys, I was willing to invest the money to do it. The biggest apprehension for me, years ago when I was young and thin, I used to water ski, but I grew up, we had Lake Michigan. I'm from Michigan City, Indiana. and we had smaller lakes. So it was a lot different than being in a water either that has gators and scary snakes, or being out in the ocean and knowing that just a drop of blood might entice a shark or something. So I thought, so
right. I want to stop you right there because you were supposed to do a triathlon earlier in the year, but it was a lake, and you're like, no way, there is no way I'm getting in with those gators. That's not gonna happen. Right?
I
like so much fear.
I refused, yes. But I am glad that I finally did one, and the water was probably, I would say, along this journey, that was probably the most intimidating part. And you, along with your coaches, just kind of helped me more and more. And then just the community of your other athletes, just encouraging me along the way, and just having those opportunities, that repetition of getting back in that water, it certainly helped.
Yeah, the consistency, right? So just doing it over and over again, despite all that fear that you had, it builds your confidence. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And your technique wasn't perfect. It can take a little bit of time to become a quote swimmer where you have this perfect technique, but that doesn't mean you can't get it done. The whole idea is the repetition, and the repetition. And I have the minimums, right? You got to be able to blow your bubbles. You got to be able to float, right? And you got to be able to just get through. We had you do the distance in the ocean a couple times. I think you did it 3 whole times before the actual race, before all those people are around you, and you have much more to deal with, right?
Right.
So that alone built your confidence. So let's talk about the bike, because you also had some challenges on the bike as well.
Yeah, so on any given weekend, I can get on A1A and ride like 16 miles, or at least that's a lot for me. But I felt comfortable that I could do that. But here again in Miami, part of the race is tackling the Rickenbacker Causeway Bridge, and
yeah.
Wow. So going up the bridge, I guess just as an athlete, or just the way my brain works, I love the challenge, because we did a lot of training before we did the bridge, where we learned about how to understand the different bike chains and how to switch
gears. Yeah, the gears.
For years, I've had the bikes with all those gears and not understanding that there was a purpose for them. So that
never shifted. You never shifted before.
Never shifted. So the coaches taught us that. So going up, there was that physical grind, and they taught us, like, don't stand up, like, to just work through it. And so that part was great. What I was not prepared for was the descent. So I was with the coach and my best friend, and they were ahead of me, and I was by myself, and I don't know. It's just, I think inertia, like that emotion stays in. I just thought, oh, and people were flying by. So my first time, I won't lie, I got off the bike and I was going down walking, and they're waiting for me. They're wondering where I am. Well, I guess Coach Jack figured it out. She's walking. But when I came down, I was like, hell no. I said, I would much rather deal with that water than deal with this bridge. Now that was my new fear.
Right.
So she taught me something, knocking or whatever.
It's called tapping. Yeah. So we use tapping a lot to just calm the nervous system. It's a very ancient technique, emotional freedom technique. But I can't tell you how many times it's helped my athlete go from jumping off a ledge, like, oh my God, the fear is so great, to, okay, I can do this, right? That's and I'm so happy. Yeah, Coach Jack I've done it with her, so she knows the technique. But yeah, it just helps you get through the moment, right?
It really worked. And then she stayed with me this time on the way down, which was really cool. My friend was behind me, and but I still had this fear. So race day, it was all in, right? I said, I'm on my own. And so again, it wasn't fast, but I wasn't like before, where, I learned the feather,
feathering the brakes. Yeah, feathering the brakes. You got it.
But I just said to myself, I got to do this. So, because I kept saying, if I could get out of that water, I'm home free. So I got to do get out of my head and just remember what's been taught and just go for it.
Okay, and then before we talk about the race, because I do want to get to race day and all the details of that, but what about the run? Because you actually, I got your first video of your running, I'm like, oh, Wendy can run. She looked awesome. But what did you ended up getting faster, right? With all the techniques that we showed you, right?
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, and that's what's cool about all of this experience and any kind of training, is just showing up. That's the first part of it, is showing up. And I remember years ago when Stacy, she asked me to come. I didn't even know what a 5K was, but I walked one with her at 280 something pounds. And I just remember thinking, I'm playing it off because I don't want her to know, like, this is killing me. But then years I started doing the runs with her, and she would just she would eventually leave me because I would just be like, just go. And I got a little bit better. But again, I lost the weight, and running just became a lot easier for me. But again, your videos, part of the training was the running drills and different things. So I would find an open field and I would go out and put out the little step ladder, that ladder thing. I'd put that out there. I'd do the different things. And I just feel like that helped. You guys also videotaped our run, so you were able to correct anything that needed to be corrected. And I even spent a little time with you. So all those things just, again, gave a different confidence. And I just felt lighter on my feet. And I'm, again, not fast, but for me to do a 9.5 at the end of a race, to do
minute mile
average, I thought was pretty darn good. So
yeah, no, it's awesome. And now let's get to race day. So you've done the training, you've put in the time, right? There was a little delay because you didn't end up doing the original race, so we had to wait until the next race in the ocean came up, and then we met again, right? We did the pre-race warm-up, and honestly, you were a little concerned. Like you started, I said, we're gonna swim the distance twice. It was 500 yards, and we swam, and then I lost you. You were gone. And I was like, where'd she go? She disappeared. And then I see you walking on the beach, and I'm like, Wendy, you got this. Let's do it. And then we stayed side by side, right? And you finished that darn swim, right? And I knew on that day, on Saturday, the race was Sunday. I'm like, she's going to be totally fine. It's going to be good. I know she can do it, right? I saw her do it. But tell me what was going through your head that Saturday.
So on the Saturday, the day before the race, what
Yes.
was going on? So I knew it was my last time to practice. And
Yes.
anytime, I won't lie because I love all your coaches, but anytime that we get that time with you, it's kind of like extra special. And so the fact that you were kind of getting me along, getting me, to that finish line out there in the water was very helpful. In fact, that's what I wanted. Like, I just wanted you to swim by me during the race. I needed that. I kept thinking I needed that encouragement, somebody to stay with me.
Right.
So
yeah, and you even commented that you saw that we make a post that I was racing with someone, and you were like, oh, no fair. I want Aaron to race with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I was so, and I was humbled when I realized what you guys were actually doing on race day. It made me, that even for my faith, it made me say, God, like, you've given me this body to do this. There's no excuse. Get out there. Yeah. You're one of me.
And that's exactly what Team Thumbs Up is about. So what Wendy's talking is about is I pull disabled athletes in a carriage, in a kayak for the swim, in a carriage on the bike, and then push them on the run. And they are triathletes. I mean, our athletes that are part of Team Up, they're such troopers. They have to endure all the elements of the race. But it's also to inspire all the other athletes that are out there that if these people can do this, right, the inclusion, right, everybody's allowed to race. Everybody gets the joy of crossing that finish line, right? And when you go by us and you say, go Aaron and go Eli, it makes the biggest difference on our effort because it's hard. I will tell you it's hard. And Wendy, I'm going to invite you. I want you to become one of our athletes on Team Thumbs Up. So I would love for you to train, and you could push, you could pull, or you can pull on the bike. Either one, any of the three.
Right.
Okay? That would be so awesome, right? Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about your race. So Sunday morning, you wake up. What is happening? I know you were so nervous. You saw all the people there. I know you got there on time, and you're so meticulous, let's just say, about every detail. I knew you were going to have a great day, but let's walk us through the whole event. So because the swim was still a challenge, right?
The swim was still a challenge. So one of the other things I want to disclose is that not only, and there was a couple of times that I would come to Miami without my friend. If she couldn't make it, I was still making that trip over there.
Right.
A lot of times I would go to her side of town, which I did race day. So we had to be in Miami by 6 or 6:30 in the morning, something like 6 in the morning, I think it was. So I had to be at her house like at 5 in the morning. So I loaded up with her and her husband. I'm sitting in the back of the Jeep, and I'm just like, I'm trying to get the food in that you guys say we need to eat. And I'm just thinking, I got to do this. Now's the time to do it. Like any other race or anything else that I've done, there's a time that comes that they're going to say it's time to go. And so I never had that feeling that I wasn't going to do it. I knew that it was going to be challenging. And, but like I said, seeing you guys get in that water, enter with the other individuals, I just like, it just reminded me like, wow, what a blessing. It's an awesome opportunity. Number one, to live in a place where, where it's still cold in some other places and we could just go. And,
yeah, we're so lucky. We get the best weather year round to train for triathlon.
Exactly.
So
and people spend a lot of money to come to where we are to participate in these events. So that's where I was. Getting in the water, I can tell you, there was something else you guys taught us, like the dolphin. I did that just to get out there. And I did a little earlier swim. I was out there in the water because these are things that help get me relaxed. Other for encouraging me. It was a good experience. I'll tell you, it is different when you're in the water, when you guys are saying, hey, swim out to there and swim back. Everybody respects their space. But
not in a race. Not in a race.
No. But again, there's Sophia. One of the things she did with me during our time of practice in the water with your coaches is she would intentionally slap me, bump into me, push me, so that I would at least have some understanding of
what it's going to be like.
And so that helped. It was totally, her taps were like love taps. These people were like, I had to keep telling myself, I don't have a choice. And in the bay, I mean, the tide was high those 2 days. So the water was deep. So there wasn't no finding any bottom or anything. So yes, I had to keep plugging away. A couple of times I stopped at the guys out on the paddle.
The lifeguard. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I will say this really quick, is that at one point I said, how far do I still have to go? And he goes, to that yellow buoy thing. And I said, wow. He goes, do you want to get out? And I said, and I'm not a cuss, but I said, hell no, I don't want to get out. And he goes, that's the way to do it. You don't quit. So for me, I thought if I've made it this far, I can make it there. So
100%.
So yeah.
Awesome.
You taught me how to roll on my back. I probably used that more than I needed to, but
that's okay.
I had to get my bearings because again, once people are knocking into you and stuff, I feel like this time all I want to do is improve my score. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. And so, so did you have any kind of a mantra? Because you know how I'm a big fan of the mantra.
Yes.
What was your mantra for the swim?
So you guys would say, I am a swimmer. I am an athlete. So I did say those things to me, but I kept thinking, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want water to.
You can say them in your mind, silly.
Yeah. But I was talking to myself. I was saying it out loud.
That's awesome. That's cool. Okay, so you got out of the swim. You got up on the beach. Was it just this giant sense of relief? Because that was really your biggest hurdle, right?
Yep, absolutely. And the other cool thing that I love that you guys spent, there was a day where we learned about transitions, because had I not done that, I wouldn't have understood how that works. And again, I want to get faster at that, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to get out of that water, get where I needed to go, and move on to the next thing. And everyone is so supportive throughout. You know, they remind you, don't forget this. Make sure your helmet's on. Make sure you're strapped in. And so, launch here, or whatever it's called. I mean, board.
Mount. Yeah. Go past the mount line. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah. And then I thought I'm going to get lost, but I have to say everything was marked well. And there's actually two bridges. There's a smaller bridge and then the big bridge. So it's a great experience. But I was on my own, and you know, in my head, I just kept saying, "You're doing it," you know.
And what happened when you got to the bridge?
When I started already getting my
RPMs.
And I just, like I said, going over is a physical, you feel the burn, but I like the burn, you know, that part didn't bother me. I just mentally had to say that going down is, I just have to do it. Now, on the way back, the wind was at us. And so that climb was really hard. I couldn't wait to descend. I didn't mind. Like,
you earned it. You earned that descent.
Good. Yeah, so I cruised a little bit faster going down that time.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, cool. And so then you knew you were in the home stretch, right, for the run. Did you have any issues on the run? You had a great run. Did everything go as planned?
The only thing is, when I got off that bike, I felt like, wow, like my legs felt rubbery, and I thought, how am I going to be able to do this? But I just thought, you know, this isn't our first rodeo. We've been doing bricks. We've been training. It's a little bit different when it's all in, like there is no stopping and talking about it or whatever. You just get going. So, you know, once I got my momentum, again, on my run, I could see you guys at a distance. And again, it just reminded me. So I thought there's no reason to stop. The only reason why you would stop is because you're in your head. Physically, you're fine. To do what you need to do, just do it. And so, yeah, it just, that part for me was the easy. And I also remember Coach Ali saying, the run is your thing. I remember her saying that to me when we were training another time. Like, she recognized out of everything, like that, you know, she had to give instruction, but that was like the least amount. Like, she knew I was confident, comfortable there. And so I remember that in my head, and I just, just did my thing. Reminding
yourself, you've been here before, you've done this. It can help that negative trash talk that we all have. What are you doing? You're tired. You need to walk. And then you remember, wait, I've done this a million times. How many 5Ks have I done? Right? How many times did I run off the bike in practice? I got this. Be quiet. I'm gone, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've got your running is your thing, and you've had this. So I do have to ask, I saw you at the end of the race, but how did it feel across that finish line?
I just remember when my bestie came over to me, her husband caught a picture of us. I was leaning over and I just started crying, and she just grabbed me. And it was just, I don't know, I get emotional thinking about it now, because again, it's something you think there's no way you can do. And I know that I do get in my head because I'm competitive. I knew people were just killing it. And I know longer distance and all those things. But I also knew, like I said, I went back to remembering my first 5K and how long it would take me to do it. And now it was like, no big deal. And then a 10K, no big deal. So it's the same thing. Like, I just was like, God, thank you for getting me across this. Thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity. Thank you for friends that will push you and do for positive things. So, and it's funny because when I crossed, I did say too, I'll never do this again. Like, what the hell was I thinking? But literally 24 hours later, so my friend said, so are we going to do another one or not? And I said, you're such an addict. And I said, heck yeah, I'm in. So.
So I have a rule. You're not allowed to make any decisions within 24 hours after a race. Okay. Because if you're not out there and at least one time you say, what the hell am I doing? Then everything's going too smoothly, right? That's normal. I've done 300 triathlons.
Wow.
And almost every time, at maybe, one split second during the race, depending on the race, I say that to myself, what am I still doing out here? But then that feeling across the finish line is just no other. And when I saw you, you were trying to hold back your tears. I'm like, come on, let them go. I know how good you feel, and I know how proud we are of you, everyone at Full Circle, because we were just so excited that you did what you thought was not possible, right? And I just want to say thank you so much for, trusting us with the journey. There were definitely some pushback a little bit, like, well, why am I doing that? And why am I doing that? But I like it when people question me, right? I want you to know why you're doing the thing, because then when you do it and you understand why, you're going to keep doing it and feel the success when you're out there. There's so many times when my athletes race and they're like, oh my God, you were so right, getting my heart rate up to 170, even though I wasn't trying to go that hard, just because of the excitement, my heart rate got that high, or whatever the case is. So I appreciate you so much trusting the process. And I'm super excited. So we did talk about, you said a couple times, I wasn't fast. And I want to really point out that triathlon is an individual sport. And just because your times are not as fast as someone else, you want to kind of throw that away and get rid of the compare schlager, as I say. You want to focus on how far you came in those 8 weeks that we worked together from start to finish, because it was a transformation, right? I mean, you really did things that you didn't think were possible, right? So always remember, you don't know how much training that other person did. You don't know how long they've been in the sport. So if you just focus on yourself and compare yourself from beginning to end, you will always see a success. You will always see that you improved in some way. Every single race will show you something that you're going to be inspired to work on for the next one. But it will always also show you where you have really gotten stronger and better, and you've mastered things. So that's why I love racing. And I'm super excited that you said yes to another one. And you did say that your swim is your limiter, right? So the one thing about swimming, even cycling less so, but swimming is more about repetition, and getting in the water. The more you get in the water, the better you have a feel for the water, okay? So don't wait too long to get back in the water, because you want to keep that memory alive of how it felt to float and kick and breathe in that perfect rhythm, so that you just build upon it, rather than going another 3 months without getting in the water. The more you get in the water, the better you become a swimmer, the better swimmer you become.
Makes
all right
sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. And so any inspiration that you could say to anybody else? We have the new beginner tri program starting right now. We're getting ready for the July 4th Integrity Multisport race. So if there's someone listening right now that has always wanted to do a triathlon, or wanted to do one better, maybe than their first one, what would you say to them?
I would say just do it. Just do it. This program gives you a mixture of everything. There's the virtual part. I think that Coach Aaron has created a program that allows you to, everything's written out for you. The drills, there's the activities that you do on a daily basis. They're not really long. They're 30 minutes or less, so it's doable. I mean, everybody should be working out at least that much every day anyway. So I think they're very helpful. I think the calls, if you invest in the time to get on the Zoom calls, you can ask questions, you can complain, you can whatever it is, you can put it out there, and they're very helpful. And if you can get to the live activities, that to me, I just think it's worth it. I just think that it's important to invest in ourselves, and it's so worth it. And the time goes by quickly, and before you know it, you're out there doing it. So I say go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being an inspiration to everyone at Full Circle Coaching, and thank you again for trusting us with the process. And I hope this isn't the end. I hope to see you soon, and I really appreciate it. So if there's anyone out there, if you have a friend that's ever wanted to do a triathlon, or you're a triathlete that you have a friend that wants to do it, or if you yourself want to try a triathlon for the very first time, please invest in my program. I guarantee your success. I promise you, you will cross the finish line in a completely new manner that you've never thought was possible. And the feeling you get is for pure confidence, right? And it transfers across your entire life. So my mission is to have a million people do a triathlon, whether they do one or more, I don't care. But for me, it's changed my life. You know, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I just want more people to feel the benefit of how it feels across that finish line. So thanks, Wendy. I really appreciate you guys. Also, so check out the link. We're going to post the link below for the beginner triathlon program. If you have any questions, just DM me. All right, Wendy, have an awesome weekend.
Thank you, Coach Erin.
Okay. Bye.